Welcome to Lauren for live coverage of the Antrim Coast Half Marathon. Stunning venue, spectacular location and a superb field we hope will make this one of the best half marathons ever seen in the UK and Ireland. And it's the very first time that a World Athletics event has been staged in Northern Ireland. We're live right across the UK via the BBC iPlayer, and our worldwide stream is available on the BBC Sport website. We have two races coming up for you this morning, the mass race, but first the elite race. And I'm delighted to say I'm joined by three special guests this morning. Organiser James McElroy and last year's two winners, Lily Partridge, and the one and only multiple Olympic gold medalist, Sir Mo Farah. Good morning to you all on this chilly morning in Northern Ireland. The sunshine from yesterday seems to have disappeared a little. First of all, Mo, how disappointed are you that you can't run again this year?
I'm delighted to be here. This is an amazing place. I'm gutted I'm not running, but James is putting a great field together, and we're looking at something special. Hopefully, with the weather, can only get better now. But it's early morning, and I'm looking forward to actually watching it and seeing, that part they go through.
Lily, easier talking about it this morning than running like last year?
Yeah, I think I was saying to someone yesterday, I think I'm a bit more nervous to be doing this than I am running. At least when I'm running, I know what I'm doing. But yeah, no, it's good. It should be a good morning. I think the women's race will be quick, so it'll be good to watch.
Yeah, James, what a fantastic field you've lined up for this event this year.
Yeah, it wasn't easy with the visa restrictions, I won't lie to you, bringing maybe non-European runners in, but everybody pulled together. The two athletes on our right, I mean, they were instrumental again making last year's race, and when we asked them, they said no, we're still coming over. So the general response from the athletes made it much easier. So yeah, there are a lot of new faces this year, but similar ones from last year as well.
And Mo, how much did you enjoy running this course last year?
Yeah, last year it was nice. I know I heard a lot about Ireland, and obviously spent a lot of time with James. And when I arrived, honestly, loved the people, how well they're connected. In terms of it, just as a community, and also like on the course, it is a beautiful course. As you're coming down that coast and going over that bridge, it's like you're in a different world. And for me, I was like, James, this race has the potential, and we talked all the way through it. But that's one of the reasons I'm back, and hopefully with the younger generation now, and be able to start the kids race and just get involved more. That's the key, I think, at my level. I think anything is possible you can achieve if you set your goals and have ambition, and I think that's the key. And I see the drive it has. I think that's the most important thing.
And as we watch the men and women warming up for the elite race, Lily, the women's field is strong. Time could be quick.
Yeah, I think to expect a quick time. The course is quick. The winds, it's not as windy as it was last year, so I think the wind will drop as well as the sun comes up. So yeah, hopefully I think the women's race will be a good one to watch.
And James, isn't it fantastic to have someone of the stature of Mo here supporting this event in Northern Ireland, which is being broadcast right around the world?
Yeah, he's been great from start to finish. Even last year he ran in Brussels the week before, which for people that don't know athletics is probably the hardest track in Europe. He ran a half marathon in spikes, and then still came last year, the next week, ran an all-comers record as well. So no, to have these guys, it's just they inspire so many people around every touch point of the community.
And tell us a little bit about the route that the runners will run this morning.
So the route, we didn't want to make it completely coastal, so we've tried to vary it a little bit. So you go through the town, so the start is on the coast road, and you'll sweep along, downhill sweep into the town, through the harbour, through the port of Larne, over the flyover into the main street of Larne, along the main street, up back onto the coast road, and then it's out to Ballygally where they turn, and that'll be one of the energy points of the course. I know there'll be good crowds there, and then it's homeward bound.
Yeah, and I suppose this year, Mo, unlike last year, running very difficult circumstances, right slap bang in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. Great to have spectators out on the road for the athletes this morning.
That's for sure. It's going to make a difference for the athletes, and for me, made a lot different having people cheering for you in the crowd, and even last year, even the people there wasn't as many people, they still came out cheer for you, open the windows, and as you said, that Ballygary, you go that part, and they are. You can feel the energy.
It's nice to get the buzz off the fans, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, it makes a massive difference. And
The time this morning in the women's race, are we expecting
Well,
something to record pace? Did you look out the window this morning and think,
I don't want to get ahead of myself. I took them around the course now, albeit I was on a bike when they were running. They loved it, and they think it's very fast. So they think the first 5k they'll probably be inside, maybe hopefully world record pace, and then they're going to have to back off it a little bit because that's where the sort of the undulations in the course are, and then they're just going to see. We'll know more maybe at 10k, Stephen, and then it's just cross everything. We'll see where it goes.
who should we be looking out for today, starting with the women's race?
So I mean, you can't really look past Yelim Zerfuola. So she's Ethiopian African champion. She's only 22 years of age. She's world bronze medalist in the half marathon. She maybe would have won it, but she tripped over the finishers mat, believe it or not. So she got up and came third, and she ran a PB in personal best in Istanbul earlier in the year, where she ran 9 seconds off the old world record. So she thinks she's in PB shape, so we think we've got a faster course in Istanbul, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, you do hear a lot and through the athletes, and she's in great shape. But I think it's one of these things that obviously she have to. I'm sure she was set for it, and hang in there for the first 5k and see how you feel. And that's often how I've done races, and particularly in the half marathon. It's a long way, so. But as I said, she's in great shape, so. Definitely all eyes on her.
Ali, how much does the wind affect you out there on this course in particular, being on the coast?
yeah, I mean, it's not too. It's a bit blowy here, but it's actually a lot less windy than last year, I think. It does affect you, but I think she's got some pacemakers with her, so hopefully they can shield her from a lot of it, if there is any out there. And to be honest, it only really affects you on this course, I think, if you overcook it in the first half. It's not too bad.
And who will be pacing for her today?
Well, we've got two very good male pacemakers. We've got Mo Ali, who's also Mo's look-alike, so
not the real one.
and Roy Hornweg. So there's two very, very accomplished international athletes. Both actually paced Joshua Cheptegei's world records last year. So they've moved Mo from the elite men's race into the women's race to try and really help her along.
And what about the male field today, Mo?
I think it is also strong, as you said. James has put in an amazing amount of people in there, and the guys has run 59 minutes, and then
yeah,
58 minutes.
Yimmer's ran 58:33, so he'll be there. And I guess we've got a very accomplished Kenyan and a very accomplished Ethiopian, all who are under 60 minutes. So I think the men's race may be a little bit more tactical, Stephen, after 10k. Who wants to take it on? Because I know the pacemaker will have been dropped at that stage, so there may be a little bit of cat and mouse, but we'll see as it unfolds.
But it's a fast course, as I said last year, having run on a course, and I think if they're in that group, we are also looking at fast times for sure.
And good for Northern Ireland to have this event as a World Athletics event this year, Mo.
No, it's great for Northern Ireland, and it's great for the people, and I think for me it's nice to have an event like this. It's something different, unique, and yeah, it's great potential to even get bigger. And as I said, James has put in an amazing amount of people.
I have to ask about your own state of fitness. Obviously missed out on the Olympics, unfortunately, this year. How's the injury coming along?
It's coming along, I say. Often we do take it for granted when we're not injured and everything's going well, but that's the moment as an athlete, it's a test. And I'm in the right form. I'm getting there, and I think I just have to take one step at a time and keep getting myself, in good condition, and hopefully not too long to go. Hopefully see me out.
Yeah. Do you target a date for a competitive return, or do you just take things slowly and see how it goes?
Yeah, you got to take things slowly. It all depends on how you heal and how much better you get. And in that time, then, once you get yourself in good condition, then you set yourself up a race, maybe like 10k, 5k, somewhere, low key, and then from there, go back, analyse it, missing a little bit here, get strong, and then go forward again from there.
And was the Olympics a frustrating, difficult watch for you?
It was, I'm not going to lie, it was frustrating, but it was so nice to see so many British people doing well, particularly endurance. And often for me, that's what excited me, because that's the athletes. You see them training day in, day out, and you see them in the circuit, and them winning a medal for your country. You can only cheer you up and make you proud. And particularly for me, training partners, Bashir Abdi, who's from Belgium, and Abdi Nageye again, Holland, came second and third, and that's the guy I spent a lot of time with. So it was nice to see so many people, and particularly in that 800 metres. Oh, what a brilliant.
And after the appetite for athletics, obviously post Olympic Games, James, nice for something like this to get us talking again.
Yeah, I think an Olympic year always brings more energy. So 3 or 4 weeks after the Olympics, it's amazing. So there's obviously a good vibe going about. Maybe not for some of the guys that ran the marathon. They're probably going to be a little bit jaded out there, but we have to wait and see.
And nice this morning that these lovely images of Northern Ireland, being broadcast globally. Even though the sun's not out for you,
yeah, it's not out. It's not out. But no, I think a lot of people mucked in, yourself included, Stephen, to get this over the line. So I thank you for that. But yeah, I think the race is on a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's the Antrim Coast Road. So it's great transcending that out across the globe. I think with some of the best runners in the world, it's only a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Mo, Lily, thank you very much for now. James, you're part of our commentary team this morning. The race is almost ready to get underway, so we will hand over to Kevin English and Nigel Ringlet.
Thank you.
Well, good morning everyone, and welcome as the Antrim Coast Half Marathon about to get underway. And I think everybody here at the finish line as we're getting ready for the start of the race. Glad they packed the extra jumper and the rain jacket this morning as we get ready to get this race underway. The sun has disappeared. It's been here all week in Northern Ireland, been a glorious week of weather, but a little cool this morning. But the good news is, I think for the athletes, is that's going to hopefully lead to some fast times. Joining me this morning, Kevin English, former athlete and Irish international coach, and James has hot-footed it over from the presentation area as well to join us. And James, we'll get the first word to you as we're about to get this race underway this morning. This is your baby. This must be a great moment, just to see this, all the planning and all the effort and all the work that's gone into this about to come to fruition.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I mean, there was a lot of people, not just me, that's weighed in. But as I said to Stephen there, some of the best runners in the world running along the Antrim coast is brilliant.
So the race underway. And of course it's a mixed race, so the men and the women both going off the start line together, and it's an interesting start to the race because it's uphill, which is something you don't see all that often in a course, but it's a little gradient here as the runners head, James, into the town.
No, but I would say, Nigel, there is a very good reason for that, because it's the tolerance of the course is actually minus 19 metres and the legal limit is minus 21. So that little 300-metre hill is necessary to keep the course legal. So yeah, they're just getting to the top of that little climb, and then what we're going to see is they've got a nearly a 1,000-metre sweep down into the town. So already we can see Hiko Tanasa there setting the pace, and we can see Kminning and Yimmer right behind him. So hopefully it's a nice fast pace to start with.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the runners here this morning, Kevin, and really in terms of the men's race, Yamal Yimmer, the real star attraction this morning, 6th fastest half marathon time in history, and he really does go into this race as favourite.
He does, yeah, and also coming from that pedigree, Ethiopian, holding the Ethiopian half marathon record, 58:33. He's also in heavy mileage as he's training for the Boston Marathon, which is coming up in 5 weeks' time. So he wants to get out today, get a good workout, and hopefully have a fast time. We also see at the front of the race there Mark Scott, who is coming straight from the track. So polar opposite to where Jamal is coming from, which is in heavy miles for the marathon. Mark should find this pace actually relatively comfortable early on, coming off the Olympics. And we have Hiko Tanasa right at the front there. Hiko's hopefully going to take us to around 6 or 7k if possible.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting to see how the guys that have come back from Tokyo, we see Stephen Scullion there dropping in behind Mark and Ymer, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys fare the second part of the race.
The conditions this morning, I would just say, it's a lot cooler than it has been all week long in the build up to the race, but that's hopefully going to suit. Will it suit all the runners? I mean, for somebody, I guess some of the locals out there this morning, they're kind of used to running in this, but for the African runners who are here today, is that a hindrance or a help?
Yeah, look, we spoke to some of the athletes actually had ran the Antrim cross country international here, so if anyone knows what that race is like, it can get very, very cold that time of the year. So look, I think as the race builds up, the athletes will get warmer in temperature, and I think the temperature is going to rise a little bit, but we can see there at the front we're already down to about 4 athletes.
Yeah, group coming off the front there. We've got Heiko Tanosa, who is setting the pace this morning. Yamal Yemer's in there, his training partner from Kenya. Shadrach Kimining is there, and of course both Kimining and Yemer both top 10 in the world when it comes to the half marathon, when it comes to the world rankings as well, James. So this shows the class of the field.
Yeah, it is, and you can see the field split up already, as Kevin was saying, and they've put a very, very swift pace. So they were talking about it this morning, even as late as this morning, just in reception, about what that pace would be. And they're definitely, it's definitely going to be under 60 minutes, the pace, so it could be anything from 59 flat to 59.30.
Well, as Sir Mo is here looking over our shoulders as we're commentating here, but worth pointing out as well that Yamal Yemer was a rival of Sir Mo on the track, finished 5th behind Sir Mo at the 2017 World Championships in London, and so a little connection there. But he's really concentrated, so he has on the roads, really, hasn't he, over the last few years, Yemer, and away from the track.
Yeah, he has. I mean, to put Yamal into context, he ran the fastest ever debut half marathon, 59 minutes flat, when he transitioned from the track. So, you know, he really is. I think he's ranked 2nd in the World Athletics road running for the last 2 years in terms of their rankings. So it is great to see, you know, an athlete of his stature come to the Antrim coast. But also just point out there that, you know, Mark Scott and Stephen Scullion are both making good accounts of themselves and staying with that lead group. It's still early on. We've just went through. We're coming up to maybe just short of 2 kilometres. So no, it's a good pace so far.
You've already mentioned the course. It winds its way through the town here and then out towards the harbour. The third African runner there in the front group is Teshfahun Akolnyu, from Ethiopia as well, and you know, 6th in New Delhi last November in what was a very, very quick race, and he's a sub 60 minutes half marathon runner as well, 59.22 his PB. Yeah,
he's actually part of ULA's training group, and they quarantined for 10 days in Tyrol in Austria, and you know, the feedback was, yeah, he's in all right shape, but ULA's in sensational shape. And when I asked, well, what type of shape is that, they said, well, probably 59 minutes flat. So, you know, that firstly shows you how good a shape he's in, and also potentially how good a shape Yelan Murph-Ulaw's in. So they've just went through the 2K there in 5:45. So that's very, very swift, Kevin.
It is indeed, and just another athlete there we haven't really mentioned is Yarid Darise, who runs with one of the local clubs in Monaghan. Carrigasis. His PB is around 63 minutes, so he's gone out at a really, really fast pace. He's
uncharted territory, really.
Yeah, he's looking at this race as a big opportunity, and we see Stephen Scullion there
just off the back now.
Yeah, he's kind of in no man's land there, caught between the 2 groups.
Last year Stephen ran so well, of course, set a new Northern Ireland record, and that was before going on to set the Irish marathon record in London as well. So we obviously don't know what form he's in. He obviously didn't run as well as he wanted to in Tokyo a few weeks ago in the marathon, and just being dropped off this pack, this front little group here as well at the moment is not good news for Stephen.
It does, you know, it's quite early, but he said he was going to. He felt tired at the start of the week. He did a training session. He said, no, you know what, I'm okay. I'm still quite strong. So maybe he's not as strong, or maybe he's more tired than he thought.
Mark Scott, Kevin, 8 days ago, he's out in Eugene in Oregon in the competing in the 2 miles. Out there at the in the Diamond League meeting, which is a little warmer than it is here in Larne this morning. And but he, of course, had a great race here last year. Second fastest Briton behind, guess who? He's standing right behind you. At the moment, Sir Mo, of course, and. But Scott didn't run quite as well as he would have liked in Tokyo in the 10,000 as well, finishing 14th. But the conditions in Tokyo, I was there, it was absolutely brutal.
It was. I think as well, you'll find with a lot of the athletes coming post-Olympics, some of them find it hard to get up for the race. But speaking to Mark, he's really up for this race. He had such a good debut last year. He's a lovely guy to watch racing. There's no watch on the wrist. He just gets in and he wants to mix it with these boys up at the top. As you said, last year that's the second fastest time by a British athlete.
I would also say, you know, from speaking to Mark, he has focused on this race immediately after the Olympics. He thinks he can get under the 60-minute barrier, and he said he's no matter what the pace, he's going to go with it. So he has been very aggressive from the start. So hopefully he can stay with that. And with regards to any wind out there, you can see he's in a lovely position. So he's tucked in pretty much in the middle of that group of 5 runners. So yeah,
we've just gone through 3K there in about 8:27.
Let's turn our attention to the women's race. We haven't really had a chance to talk yet about the women, but this is could be even more exciting, James, than the men's race this morning as well. Tell us why.
Well, from the Yule Law's in very good shape. There we just see it's just the camera's just now scrolled onto it 3K. She's went through at 8:54, so that's 10 seconds inside world record pace. So that's very aggressive running. I was speaking to both her and her agent and her pacemaker, and they said they would go through quite fast under world record pace, maybe a couple of seconds under world record pace the first 3 to 5K, but she really has went very aggressively, so we could be looking at something exciting, Nigel.
And let's talk about that world record, because there are a couple in the books at the moment. The one we're looking at this morning, I think, is 64:02. Isn't that right, James? Which is held currently by Ruth Chepnitich.
Yeah, so actually Yule was in that race in Istanbul back in March. It was actually, I was going to say it was a similar day actually today, but it was a little bit more, I think there was a bit more rain on that occasion. They did run 64:02, so it's still to be ratified, and the feedback was from that race that she'd went too aggressive too soon, so they said they would back off after 5K and then see what happens. The ratified world record currently 64:31, but we would expect Istanbul to be ratified later on in the year.
So 64:02 is the time that we're going to look out for this morning. 10 minutes into the race, you're watching the Antrim Coast Half Marathon on the BBC Sport website and also the BBC iPlayer. Welcome along to chilly Larne here in the east coast of Northern Ireland, wherever you are tuned into. This is the lead group in the men's race this morning. It's been paced by Heiko Tenoso, which I want to talk to Kevin about in a second. But the other leaders there, Yamal Yimer as well from Ethiopia. The favourite, I think, for this race this morning is training partner there as well, Shadrach Kimening of Kenya. Up in the lead group as well, Mark Scott from Great Britain, recently returned from the Tokyo Olympics in that lead group as well. And the other athlete there is...
It's Tesfahun Akalnu, yeah. So it really is the big four. So Tenoso, firstly, is doing a great job. He's coming up to 4K, and I can tell you that is not an easy job when you've got world-class athletes biting at your heels. So he really is doing well.
Kevin, I wanted to talk to you about Heiko Tenoso because I've seen him run. I saw him run at the Mary Peters track earlier this year, and but it's an amazing backstory that he has. He competes now eligible to compete for Ireland, and I was reading his backstory, and it is an incredible story for Heiko.
Yeah, I mean, he came here. He's coached by Phelim Kelly in Dublin Track Club, which is, if anyone knows, it's something that Phelim does as a passion. He's a small group there, and he goes one of the guys that they turn up, they train hard. Hiko won the 5K and the 10K in the nationals,
I mean, he's a fine runner in his own right. You have him pacing here this morning, but doing the pacemaking and checking his watch there just to see what kind of time he's setting, because one of the targets for the race this morning is also hopefully the first sub 60-minute half marathon on the island of Ireland, which is something we're also looking out for this morning. And Tanosa setting a good pace here. But as you say, he came over from Ethiopia. He, one of his best friends, I read, out there was killed in some civil unrest in the country, and he's found a home now here.
He has indeed, and he loves it here. He can't wait to put on the Irish vest. He was saying, European Championships would be his big goal, indoors and outdoors, and it's something that he can be competitive in, European level. He's doing a fantastic job here at the front, and once he gets away, we're into the fast section of the course. You can see here we're running into the town here.
Just going onto Larne Main Street now. So at the top of Larne Main Street, we'll be coming up to 5,000 metres. So they really are going very well.
We just have a view here now. You can see it's a big pack here. There's a lot of guys in here that are having their first vest for their countries, which is must be such a buzz for them to run here with a woman here who's gone for the world record. Yeah, I know.
Yelizov's agent's big fear was there would be too many guys running around her, and so hopefully there's no one gets in her way, because you can see there's maybe a group of 10 or 12 athletes all around that 63-64 minute mark. So hopefully she still gets a clear run. Now the lead guys are coming up to close to 5,000 metres, and it really is probably around 14:10 pace, so it's very fast.
Well, we know this course. What is it that it's often said that this course is fast, James? The conditions this morning, you've been out the road, out towards Ballygally, out the Antrim Coast Road, and for those who are tuning in this morning, you're about to see some spectacular pictures of the Northern Ireland coastline. The runners will probably not get a chance really to take it all in. But how windy is it out there as you go up the coast now towards Ballygally?
Yeah, so it's the wind's registering at the minute at 9 miles per hour. So if we could stick around that, it's certainly it's a better day than last year, and it's a northwest wind, which means it'll be behind them for the last 5 miles.
You just see Hikos there pull up to the side, job done. Now we've got 4 guys out at the front.
It's the big 4 now, isn't it? Moving away. Tanosa with a great job there. There's the 5k split time, 14:17. Tanosa leading them through, and is that roughly where you would expect them to be?
Yeah, I mean 14:13 is 60-minute pace, so we're just slightly under it, but we're hoping now the guys are going to really start racing against each other.
And we're also coming up the slope. We're nearly finishing the sort of the slow part of the course. So you can see there, Mark Scott and Yimmer are just going through the last part of the climb on the course, and then it's relatively flat from there on.
I guess what you won't, and actually we can see the pacemaker Roy Hundveg, who is pacing Yulof this morning for the women's race, going through in 15:05. That's pretty good.
Yes, yeah, it's 5 seconds inside world record pace currently in the women's race. So it's very, very exciting. They're bang on for a very, very fast time.
So there we see Yulaw's time, 15:05.06. Bang on with the pacemaker, and you have 2 pacemakers actually out there helping her this morning. James, isn't that right? Both very much used to the job. I was reading that Hundveg, the Roy, he paced, didn't he? Joshua.
Yeah. Chip Tigay last year, both times in Valencia, yeah. So maybe a good omen there, Nigel. We'll see. But Roy's very, very experienced and very, very experienced international runner. But in terms of pacemaking, he gets on very, very well with Yulaw. So she picks up his pace very, very well. So they run well together.
Yeah, Joshua Cheptegei setting those world records in both 5,000 and 10,000 last year in Monaco and Valencia, respectively, and Hundveg paced both of those races, so yeah. She's in safe hands at the moment.
Yeah, but just cutting back, Nigel, to the men's race now, they've just finished effectively the last climb in the course, so it now gets pretty fast from here on in. So yeah, the time's just around the 60-minute barrier, but it should be able to pick it up from here, subject to win on the coast.
Now, Tenosa Kevin pulling out there after doing his job through the first 5k. Now what happens? We've 3 really good African runners. Mark Scott mixing it up there as well. Now, is there a chance that they all look around at each other and wondering who's going to take this race on now as they head out on the Antrim coast?
Yeah, definitely. I think there'll be a little bit of tactics going on, but you got to remember, like, 2 of the 4 runners are in heavy training for the marathon right now, so they really want a good hit out. They're not going to want to just dawdle around, and there will be obviously pride for who's going to take first place at the end of the race. But I'm just noticing there, Mark Scott, he was sitting at the back, and all of a sudden now he's just kind of coming right to the front there. Looks really relaxed.
Yeah, and Kiminning's just looking over his shoulder, so he's at the front. He's maybe asking for one of the guys there he's running with. Do they want to do any work as well? So I know he trains a lot with Ymer. He was out in Tuscany there, quarantining for 10 days before coming here. So both those guys may be running together.
And of course, these guys very much used to racing each other. Last year, Yamal Ymer winning in Houston in the half marathon there, and Kiminning was in 3rd place. That was back in January 2020, of course, just before lockdown came around. And of course, I guess for all of these runners over the last 12 to 15 months especially, finding races has been difficult. Really difficult.
I mean, I think I know, speaking to their agent Malcolm Anderson, it's not just a simple case of booking flights now. There's so much that goes with it in terms of PCR tests and visa restrictions and so on and so forth. So yeah, the races they've had have been few and far between. I think both of them only raced twice last year.
And this warms your heart, doesn't it, seeing crowds?
It does, yeah.
Out on the pavements and watching the racing, Kevin.
It's so good to see crowds back, and people are travelling from down south up to the race today. I've been speaking to, they really want to get a flavour of the action and see these top athletes in the flesh,
So heading downhill here now, James, and just about to head out now on the coast road. And as you say, it's pretty flat. It's pretty flat now all the way out to the turning point at Ballygally and back. Yeah, well,
that's a fantastic shot there, because you can see the road's now sweeping down onto that iconic coast road. So they'll be going out the left side of the course, as you can see now. They're just passing the start again, so they're through, nearly coming up to 7k. And it's nice and flat right through the Black Arch now, pretty much the whole way now to Ballygally.
Well, not much actually between the
well, Ymer and Akelnew there, both Ethiopians, had a chat with each other. So I don't know, Mo. Mo's here beside me. What would they be working together, or what would they be talking about at this stage?
Yeah, so when you're a training partner, often you know exactly what other person can do. So if you can work as a team and get away together, and I think at that point, as you said, coming up 7k.
And would these guys be working together now, do you think? Yeah.
Try and talk to each other, encourage each other.
We've just cutting back to the women's race, so you can see there again they're coming up to the start at the 4 mile mark. So you'll all again on tremendous pace.
And she's got a lot of company there, James, at the moment.
Yeah, an awful lot. As I say, there's maybe 10 or 12 guys, and when you look at the start list, and it was discussed in the technical meeting last night, there are maybe 12 runners, all within 30 seconds of each other, and you can see that the race is translating like that now.
I think this is the point where you say, look, we go. Put your foot down, and you just testing other athletes who can go with you, can they hold it, similar thing. Right.
Well, Kiminning and Ymer, as I say, have been training together out in Tuscany in recent weeks, preparing for this race. They've obviously had to come to Europe, as you say, to observe all the different quarantine regulations in preparation. It's obviously not easy getting these guys here and getting them through all those protocols. But they're here, and now this race is really beginning now to hot up. And Mark Scott, you get the feeling, his tactics now. He knows that these three guys are faster. Is Mark Scott more worried about winning the race, or is he looking at the clock now and thinking, I want that sub 60 minutes?
Well, I'd imagine he'll be looking at both. Now he'll also be thinking to himself, it's much cooler than it was the last few days. The conditions are definitely going to suit Mark over the African guys, so it's that's definitely going to stand in his favour.
And you'll all there with the pacemakers, and obviously you have two pacemakers there. One to take them to where on the course?
Well,
James?
they're going to try and take Yellowsworth the whole way around, but whether they're able to do that or not, I'm not sure. We actually saw Owen Totten from Northern Ireland break away there, so he was sitting in that pack, and now he's decided to go on and push it. We know, I was speaking to him last night, he's in good shape, so he's probably going to try and run maybe a low 63 or 62.
This is where we start getting the really nice pictures. If you're watching it at home, if you're not sure, you're watching from a part of the UK or around the world where abouts we're on the east coast of Northern Ireland, the iconic Antrim coast. It sort of winds its way sort of from Larne, the Antrim Coast Road, all the way up around little places like Cushendun, Cushendall, all the way around to Ballycastle, and then the spectacular north coast with the Giant's Causeway and Portrush and Port Stewart. And
you can see there Jamal checking the watch. You can tell he wants a fast one today.
He's won the fast one. He was also waving through Comminning, who didn't go through, so it'll be interesting to see now whether he just says I'm going to go myself, or whether he's going to sit with these guys. Certainly it looks like he's made a move to the front.
Yeah, I think Mark Scott knows the course. Obviously he ran it last year, so from a tactic point of view, Mark's just going to sit in there. Like James said, he's going to obviously hope to break that 60-minute mark, but also try and get the win here today as well.
And iconic shots there of the Black Arch there, so blasted through in 1841 by William Bald, who designed the road, so it's still standing firm, and it's beautiful shots.
I'm glad I've got you with me this morning, James. There's no way I could have told you that.
Well, as a local for 44 years, you get to know these things, so it's the road hasn't changed too much in many years.
James, is that's show me the area there where that's where the Game of Thrones was set, is that correct? Yeah, well
the Game of Thrones was actually set all along this coastline, from Larne the whole way up to the Giant's Causeway, so there's multiple locations that it's been filmed. The Ballygally turn, actually, if you look at the mountain range on the left hand side, was where the very first episode was filmed.
You can spend hours, Kevin, wondering where Westeros and all the other places were. In fact, it kind of spoils your enjoyment when you're from Northern Ireland and you're sitting watching Game of Thrones and you're just going, oh yeah, I know that place.
And that doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Getting a shot there of Stephen Scullion. You can see your red is paying for his pace early on there. It's going to be a long race for Stephen now. The support on the side of the roads, I'm sure, is going to really keep him motivated and keep him focused. You get a glimpse there on Totten in the background, and there
we just see Roy Hornweg and the lead vehicle for the women's race, and that is quite a group of 8 athletes there, but they are actually now starting to pull back in Stephen Scullion, who's a world-class athlete in his own right.
Well, this is interesting now as we're heading out towards the halfway point of this half marathon. And the men's race now really between obviously the 4 that we see here in front of us, Jamal Ymer, and switching back to the women's race, Yule there in amongst the men, Roy Hohenweg there.
Yeah, which actually might work quite well for her, because in terms of any wind, she's going to be very well sheltered from it, so that actually might, as long as she's not getting clipped or pushed, that'll work well. And you can see the stunning Jurassic coastline there, Nigel.
Yeah, we're coming up to Drains Bay, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And then not far to go for the halfway point.
Yeah, so Drains Bay, you'll see the 10-kilometre mat. So I guess on the women's race, the big watch out will be the United Kingdom all-comers records, 30 minutes 51. So at the moment it looks like they're well inside that pace. So that'll probably be the next marker to come along.
We're looking at world record pace of approximately 30:30 going through 10k mark. It'll give us a really good indication, as James said earlier, that the harder part of the course is early on. So you can see here a couple of the Irish guys, Paul O'Donnell there and Ryan Creech. I think it's Ryan's first senior vest.
And these guys can be pulled through here by the pacemaking of Hohenweg and Mo Ali as well, and they're the two pacemakers you can see in front there. You can see Yulaw just behind in the red shorts, the leader of the women's race, going for this potential world record this morning, and surrounded there by some very good Irish athletes who can be pulled to PBs this morning at the very least.
It's a great experience for those guys being in a race like today, and you can see they're taking full advantage of it.
And now just flicking back onto the men's race, we can see Mark Scott taking his turn at the front. So again, each one of the runners taking a couple of minutes each time at the front.
Well, I've got to say, Mark Scott looks good, doesn't he?
Looks very good.
It may be a little deceiving, but Kimmening there on the left hand side, maybe it's just his style of running. Almost looks a little laboured, but I'm sure he's not.
Yeah, his shoulders are rolling maybe more than Mark Scott, the track runner. So it's maybe just the difference between someone who's on the road much more than on the track.
Yeah, as you can see, that Mark's form has not changed one bit, so he's comfortable at that pace. And as you can see, been a marathon run, track runner, slightly different bodies.
Slightly more upright, Mark Scott, obviously, in his style of running.
But they all look good. They look good, don't they? At this point, you're comfortable. They're comfortable.
No, it'll be interesting.
When's it going to be the next move?
Well, it'll be interesting to know when the next move is, because you know yourself, you moved off and Mark with maybe just 400 metres before the dip with into the last kilometre of the promenade. If these guys are all together, it'll be quite an interesting finish.
It will be definitely a strong finish, as you said. But if someone can make a move early on and hold on to it, it'll be good. But in a half marathon, you don't want to make a move if you can work together till this point.
Kimmening just taking a drink there, and the only one of the four leaders there to grab some refreshment at this side. So we go back to the women's race. I'm going to bring Lily Partridge in here, last year's winner of the women's race. Lily, this is tremendously exciting in terms of women's half marathon running this morning, what we could see over the next sort of half hour or so.
Yeah, no, I think it's really exciting. I actually think the conditions, although it's a bit chillier than yesterday, actually it might help, because it might just, sort of takes another element out of it if it's warm. I think she'll get close here.
We've got the 10k split times, James, on the screen. Yeah,
and they've fallen off it, so that next 5k has it's slowed down somewhat. So I think last year Sir Mo here to my left, he went through in about 28:30. I'm right in saying, so they have slowed down a bit, but it's again they're running into a headwind. So last year it was the opposite direction, the wind, so it will be behind them in the last 5 miles, so they maybe be able to pick some time up.
And Lily, just back to the women's race here, we can see you're all looking for a little refreshment, but she's looking good, and she's being paced well. And
I was just going to jump in, sorry Lily, the first water station there, so sometimes there's the water transition doesn't go well, but that went perfect.
Yeah, no, I think she's obviously practiced that. Just trying to get some carbohydrates in, I imagine.
Well, she's looking strong, and they've caught young Totten, and they've reeled him back in, and I think Stephen Scullion will be next on the road, who's maybe just ahead as we switch back to the men's race. And we can see there that 30:21 for the women. Roy Hohenweg going through in 30:21, just ahead of Mo Ali, and that's
world record pace. So that's
and Yulaw through in 30:22. So there we see the women's 10k split on the screen.
I'd just like to say on that. So that's the fastest ever 10 kilometres in Great Britain en route to a half marathon. So we will be seeing something special today, whether it's a world record or whether it's a UK all-comers record. But it's certainly going to, maybe Lily, it's going to take your time from last year. And
yeah, I'd say so. She has a hell of a blow up if she doesn't do it now.
But fantastic running.
But there's a smile on Sir Mo's face, because his course record at the moment is might remain actually this morning. But we'll see what the men, maybe they'll get blown back with the tailwind on the way back into.
That's all. But it's good to see the guys stuck it in. I think the key thing is at that time, if the time's gone, it's about winning the race, and I'm sure each one of them is thinking.
And they're about to catch another very good athlete, Kevin, in Derisi here as well. So that women's the group with Eurolaw in it is catching Derisi here, and that shows that the pace that they're going at, and they're maintaining that pace actually. And
yeah, it's metronome by the pacers. You can see they're after pulling in on Totten. Your red is going to be the next guy. Stephen Scullion's up the road. It's like a train. They're just coming through the whole time here. It's fantastic to watch.
And they said, Kev, they said that they were going to slow down the second 5 kilometres from 5 to 10k, but they haven't really slowed down that much.
No, you can see the pacers right at the front there.
In a situation like this, is Ulam's is she calling the shots in the group? Is she talking to Roy and Mo and telling them, you know, I need to slow this down a little, or
very much so, very much so. But it's all been coordinated two days ago, 1 day ago, and then they'll have confirmed it the morning of the race, so they'll know exactly what they're doing out there, and it looks to be going according to plan.
And Mo Ali got out on the course and actually ran the course beforehand to actually just see all the undulations, to see exactly how the course felt.
And with united everybody who's been here and who's seen this course and who's been around this course. You sent me a message yesterday, James. I think you were out with Mo Ali when he went around the course. They love it. They think they really do enjoy running this course.
They actually ran the whole course, stopped, took photographs, and ran under 80 minutes. So it made me a little bit sick. But no, they thought the section of the course they're on now, they thought it was stunning, and there are stunning views out to sea there. So obviously they won't probably be looking at that at the moment, but you still do sense the atmosphere and the location.
Well, just in case you're joining us, let's tell you what's happening as we pass the 15 kilometre. Is that the 15k mark? Yeah.
Sorry, it's not. No, it's not. It's on the way back, Nigel. Yeah.
And so we have
just past 7.5 miles, probably. So
to the right of your screen, it's we're switching back to the women's race, and you can see Ulam Zurf, Eurolaw in there in the middle of that men's pack. The two pacemakers, Mo Ali there. You can see in the blue shorts, and just right next to him, the tall figure, the blonde figure of Roy Hohenweg. And back to the men's race, Yamal Yima on the right-hand side of the screen there from Ethiopia, 24 years old, personal best of 58.33 in Valencia. His training partner is there in Teshfahun Akalyu as well, and
I think, Nigel, what we're seeing is a record attempt in the women's race, and we're seeing a race in the men's. So we've got a very tactical race going on here. We've got Great Britain's Mark Scott, and we've got the cream of Africa in the Kenyan Shadrach Kimining and Tesfahun Akalyu and Yamal Yimmer.
And remember, these athletes top 10 in the world rankings. And Mark Scott, of course, coming fresh from Tokyo, where he finished 14th in the 10,000 final, was a little disappointed not to reach the 5,000 meters final in Tokyo, went out in the heats. Since then, has been to Eugene, ran 2 miles just last Saturday, and has obviously come over, got the jet lag out of his legs, and is doing well. As we see Stephen Scullion, they're just struggling a little today, Stephen, but keeping going. He had a tough time in the marathon in Tokyo, but as did so many. Should also say, we haven't mentioned it this morning, unfortunately Paul Pollock had to pull out of the race later on, James. Our other sort of Tokyo and Rio Olympian, Paul, of course, a 2-time Olympian, Paul.
Yeah, and he was very disappointed. He left. It was actually yesterday he pulled out. He had food poisoning, so he looks still in race shape, but he wasn't in any way in any shape for running a half marathon today, unfortunately. But he still has come to the hotel, and he is about. I think he'll be probably around the media tent later on this afternoon.
And Kevin, we saw a shot a few moments ago of Anne-Marie McGlynn from Northern Ireland, the leading local runner in the race, and of course Anne-Marie, so unlucky just to miss out on getting Tokyo qualification earlier this year. She went for the marathon qualification on a couple of occasions and just missed out, but running well here this morning, up I think in the 8th or 9th there in the women's race, and going along very well.
Yeah, and I suppose with Anne-Marie there now, her focus now is probably coming into a spring marathon. Today is really to see where her fitness is at. And I know last year she really wanted to do the race. She's delighted to be here this year. We've also got Aoife Kilgannon from Sligo AC, up and coming athlete, She actually won the Larne AC 10k here a few weeks ago, so she got an idea of the course.
And the men's runners now, they're just coming into Ballygally, so they've went round the headlands, which is sometimes can be windy, and they will get a tremendous reception as they go round the Ballygally loop and back home, and that should hopefully be wind behind.
As James said earlier, we're really getting a proper race here in the men's race here. It's just the guys are eyeing each other up. We're going to see something special in the last 5k. I think the last 2k is exceptionally fast, part of the course. Jamal Yimmer actually became a father yesterday, so he's got something to run for today.
Wow, congratulations. Well, as they head towards the turn and heading back towards the line here at the finish line, you can feel the wind. You know how strong actually it is. It's sort of whipping up here a little around the finish line, and a few morning joggers out there as well joining in, and that's always good to see. So as we come up to the turning circle here at Ballygally, Jamal Yimmer, Shadrach Kimmening, we have Teshafun Akelnew and Mark Scott. They've been together now for most of this race, breaking away very early thanks to the help of the pacemaking of Heiko Tanosa, and as they turn through Ballygally and about to head home, Scott looks great there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He looks very, very strong, and he really has. He has focused on this race for quite some time, and he said he was very bullish when chatting to him in the hotel. He said no matter what the pace was, he was going with it, and he's doing just that. So he's got the advantage that he knows the course from here on in.
And not that far behind, actually, the group with the leading women as we continue to track the progress.
Yeah, the group looks like it's going to turn in from 11 to 13 now in another minute or so.
And so we're very excited as they come up to
the turning point.
To the turning point, Ulamzurf.
And we can see that crowd, the Ulazurf Ulaws group is now catching Duress and Scullion. So both these guys are struggling. They've tried to go out with the men, but I think it's probably just a long season, and they're just tired now from certainly from Stephen from Tokyo.
Here's a question, if you don't mind, for Samo. If you're running with your training partner, these guys now must be at the stage of the race, and having trained and run together over the last few weeks in the build-up to the race, you must have an inkling as to how strong each other is now, and now the tactics now as they turn for home, they'll be marking their card as to when they're going to make that move.
Yeah, and at this point, is you train together, you know each other, and it depends how much you got on well with them. But if I was with my training partner, often we'll try and encourage each other, get away from the pack. Once you get away, get comfortable, then each person come up with their own tactics, and that's the easy part. But at this point here, I think they're just holding on to it, and I think we will see a big move at some point. Obviously, Mark Scott's doing really well, just holding it in, holding his ground in, and
you'd probably expect them to pick it up from here with the wind. They've got that tailwind now behind them. They're on the last 5 miles. Somebody has to make a move somewhere.
No, yeah, if you could make a big move now from 5 miles to go, it will, obviously, for the time, but I don't even know if they're thinking about time. They just,
Certainly Mark won't be wanting to make a move here. As a track 5-10k specialist, he'll be sitting in for as long as possible.
Yeah, definitely. If I was him, I would definitely sit in and just see what we can do, but, let them do the work.
Well, Kimmening is setting the pace as we switch back to the leading woman in the race, and again the pace looks strong. Again, surrounded by Moali and Roy Hohenweg, there is Ulof
and most of the English and Irish team as well, and a couple of Northern Ireland runners. So it is a great group, so hopefully the wind isn't playing as big a part as maybe the men's race.
Well, it's the most exposed part of the course, isn't it, out there? So the next time check at 15k will be interesting to see whether they've managed to maintain that pace through that little bit of exposed.
Yeah, well, it's really now, for any record attempt, you can't back off. So she will be working very, very hard, and she'll be getting instruction from her pacemakers, and she'll have to go for it from 15k to 20k. She'll really have to set it up.
It's fine margins now at this stage, and what's working out really well in the race here, you can see the guys now are deciding to put the hammer down. These guys now are realising, I'm on for PB, I've got to take it. And you can see Mo Ali is controlling the pace, and unbelievable here. He has the hand out to the side, he's making sure that she's in the right position and she's going at the right pace.
And Yulaw's just coming up on Scullion there as well. We saw just before we cut back to, we see Chris Madden from Northern Ireland coming round to the Ballygally turn. Paul Rogers.
Mark's twin brother there.
Yeah, Rob Scott's just going round with that group.
So we are back again with the women's group, if you like, the leading women anyway. And here we are at the front of the race once more again. And Shadrach Himmening
going round Ballygally Head, Nigel, so this will be windy, this section. No matter how good a day, you're always going to get a little bit of headwind here. And you can see Mark's just tucking in, so maybe quite clever.
So Kimmening, Yeamer there in the, well, it's Kimmening in the sort of the blue shorts, Yeamer in the black shorts, and Akenyu just in on the left-hand side of the screen there in the white top, and of course Mark Scott. And
Akenyu's been quite clever. You know, he hasn't. All the others have had taken a turn at the front, whereas Tesfahun has just stayed in at the back the whole way around so far. So himself, he's a world-class runner at 59.22. So maybe he's just going to sit in for as long as possible.
You can see Kimmening seems to be doing a lot of the work at the front of the race. And you notice Yimmer seems to be the one that's checking the watch quite a bit, so he's obviously, he wants to keep his I think his sub 60. I don't know if it's going to happen today, but
they seem to be moving faster now.
Yeah, I think it is. And it's hard sitting down at the finish, Mo, just knowing how windy it is, or so they may have been running into quite a strong headwind going out, and now it might be quite strong pushing back.
You could just see the form a little bit changing, and as you can see the leg 15k, yeah.
So 15k and about 43, was that about 43.27 or something like that? So how does that equate? There we go, they get the time 43.29 for the league group.
Yeah, I think they've picked it up a little bit. So yeah, the wind's definitely now favouring them. So whatever wind there is, I think it will be helping them from here to the finish.
Yeah, I think splits are going out the window a little bit in the men's race. That we're all waiting to see this next split in the ladies' race.
Because we do want to point out, and the split will be coming shortly, as you say, in the women's race, that this, of course, is a World Athletics event, and so therefore winning it it's a very prestigious race to win now. James, isn't that right?
It certainly is. I mean, it's a new World Athletics event, but again, the response and the uptake from some of the international runners who were trying to get in was brilliant. I mean, we could have had maybe an African contingent of 50 athletes if they'd all get in, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, I think the response has been good, and you know, obviously winning off the back of Sir Mo Farah winning the men's, it's obviously a good name to follow.
We got a glimpse there of Vane Nyambake from Kenya. She's the second female athlete at the moment. This is actually her first race outside of Kenya today, so speaking to her agent there last night, and there's a little bit of nerves when someone is coming outside of Kenya or Ethiopia for the first time. It's all new to her. He was a little bit worried that she might go with the world record pace. I say he's happy now watching the race there, knowing that she's settling in there in second place. We've got Becky Briggs there coming through. Becky had a great run here last
year's fourth placer, and there's Anne-Marie McGlynn as well. So maybe Becky Briggs is in Anne-Marie's sight, so maybe they can work together, start to get back.
Well, Mo Ali has gone through in 45.24, so that's the time we assume that Yulaw has gone through as well. In fact, there it is, 45.24.
Well, it looks like they've actually picked it up again. So I think the outward stretch that it was into a headwind, maybe a slight headwind, Nigel, and now that they're getting the benefits of any tailwind. So it will be quite interesting to see what they start to get in.
We're 6 seconds inside the world record at the moment.
So it's very, very strong. And what I would stress as well, and I mean, Lily and Mo will know this, we're now going into a very, very fast section of the course. They've done the slow part. They're coming into a fast part of the course with what looks to be a prevailing wind. So we could be on for something never seen before in these shores, Nigel.
Well, they're just passing Corndew Golf Club there, which has a spectacular a couple of spectacular holes on it if you ever get a chance to play it, and it's just right over the headland there at Ballygally. Absolutely a superb course. But back to the race, that's what we're interested in now in the men.
And it really is a race there at the front, so it's cat and mouse. We don't know how quick they're going to pick it up, but you can see that there's none of the four have split yet. So does that favour Mark Scott? Does it favour Jamal Yimmer and Shadrach Comminning, who train together? So it'll be quite interesting to see how that unfolds. And there we can see Eula, her second water transition went perfect, so that's she'll be obviously wanting to try and get fuel on with as efficiently as possible. So everything at the moment is looking really, really promising in the women's race.
And I think that Roy Huenveg's done his job for the day. I think I didn't see him there in the shot, so I think it's down to Mo Ali now to try and guide her as far as he can now back towards Larne and towards the finish here.
Yeah, just looking at that split there, 45-24. We go back to Istanbul. 45-30 was the world record pace at the time. So we're 6 seconds inside it now at the moment.
So it's really just now. Eula did have a very sticky 15 to 20k. So it's really, this is the critical part of the race, Kevin, in terms of trying to set up that world record.
It is, and I think she would have learned a lot from the last day. Conditions were quite wet and slippery. I remember at the finish line, she turned over on her ankle a little bit, and I think now with that bigger pack as well, it's really going to help her. You can see here, Yimmer is come to the front of the race here now. It looks like it's game on here in the men's race.
Yeah, Yimmer just looks as though he's beginning to push the pace here now.
He just looked across his training partner and just put the foot down and saying, look, I'm going to take the lead, and I think they'll switch again, but this is a big move.
Well, Yimmer hasn't dropped Kimmening or indeed Aquilnew is still there as well. Mark Scott still holding on at the back as well. Still very much a four-man race at the moment.
But it definitely looks now that they're strung out in single file, Mo. So it does look that this maybe is not the move, but it certainly is a move with 4 miles to go.
Spot on there.
Well, Kevin's getting excited. Mo Ali there pacing Eula, and she looks strong, doesn't she?
I think the biggest positive here, we're seeing the group is actually being dropped right now, so you can see they're really going for it.
And Ross Skelton there is running very strongly as well. But Mo Ali at the front, he's a world class. He's a very good friend of Sir Mo Farah here to my left, and Mo Ali, he's a very good runner in his own right.
No, he's good. He's really good. As you know, I often tell him, like, you can, aim high, and he does a great job of today what he's doing, encouraging, picking up bottle. It takes courage and bravery.
And they are really running this very smartly, aren't they? You can see they're very much in control at the moment. So we are in the critical part. This is where she fell off, as I said previously, but Eula does look very strong at the moment.
She looks really strong, James. And as you can see, and if she can rely on him to take all that work away from, it helps a lot.
Well, let's bring Lily in on. We're just going to the front of the men's race, but the women's race now is really beginning to reach the crunch point. Just 22 years of age, this Ethiopian lady who's come onto the scene over the last couple of years, third in the World Half Marathon Championships in 2020, and she's looking good, Lily. She really is.
Yeah, no, she's moving really well. She looks good, and as Mo was saying, Ali's very experienced, but yeah, I think he feels like he might have overcommitted to a pace of a 64. She looks like she's ready to go past. I think this is going to be exciting. I think it's quite quick now into the finish.
I know, speaking to her agent Dan Vanderberg, he's very excited. They've got global superstars the whole way back to Haile Gebrselassie there, and they do all think this lady is going to be something special. She's just turned 22 years of age, so it's she's still got nearly her whole career ahead of her. So it really is exciting.
Well, they head back past Drains Bay, and they'll be shortly approaching the Black Arch again, and then it really is down to the finish, and it's quite a tight finish along the coastal path, but it's sheltered as well, James, so it's a quick finish.
Yeah, so we think at the moment she's 4 seconds inside the world record, and she's essentially running flat. She's got a very gradual incline with about a mile to go, and then she's got that steep descent of about 150 meters, and then she's onto the promenade with 1,000 meters to go, where there is going to be some support around, certainly coming up to the finish line.
Lily, you ran the finish last year. How quick is it?
Yeah, it is quick. There's a slight little rise just before you drop down into the final sort of mile or so. But yeah, it's a very quick sort of run into the promenade.
It's good to have Kevin here, because he's doing all the he's doing all the calculations on his fingers here at the moment, trying to work out.
Jumping around here. You can see Mo Ali is actually, he looks like there's a grimace on his face here, and Yalom looks like she just wants to go past him here now. So.
Well, the men coming through the Black Arch as they head back towards Larne now. The finish is not too far away, and
it's not. And I would just say at this stage, last year it was where Sir Mo had made he broke away from himself, and Mark Scott broke away from Stephen Scullion and Ben Connor, and they're still all together. So this will actually be very, very exciting finish.
Yeah. She's doing great, and Ali's doing a good job, but you can see in Ali's face a little bit.
Yeah, and don't forget as well, Mo Ali's taking all the wind, and all, you know, he's taken that first 8 miles of any headwind. He's sort of been a crash barrier as well.
Yeah, I think sorry to interrupt. I think he's maybe getting close to finish. He took a glance behind him there, the Mo Ali. I think maybe he's getting close to sort of maybe waving her on. Through, yeah,
but she looks great. She doesn't look like she's struggling at all in any bit.
And they'll know by the splits, Mo, as well. So they'll know if they're a couple of seconds down, or if they're where they need to be.
Yeah. Come on, Kevin.
Yeah, another glance at the watch there. It really is getting exciting now.
And speaking to her agent last night, she was very, very disappointed not to make the Ethiopian Olympic team, and he says it's put so much fire in her belly. So she's running out there very, very aggressive, and it could all work out very, very well for her.
Yeah, she was 4th in the 10,000 meters trials for the Ethiopian team at Hengelo back before Tokyo, and of course such strength and depth that Ethiopia has. The 4th place wasn't good enough to make the team.
And I think part of that's her age. You know, sometimes you think transitioning from half marathon down to 10k or 5k on the track is going to be easy, and it never really transpires like that. It's a different event, so I think part of that was in the learning. But what I would say is she came back and ran 2 personal bests since her run in Istanbul, so maybe we could hopefully be at least getting a personal best, which will be certainly an all-comers record for the United Kingdom.
Well, we're obviously getting close now to the finish. They're just past 18 kilometres there. I can see in the background Mo Ali here pacing Ulam Zerf, Ula to, well, what we're hoping, Kevin, I think he's probably doing more sums here, just checking in on the time as they come through the Black Arch.
With just two miles to go, really. We're coming into just over 2 miles to go now when you go through the Black Arch, so it's just over 9 minutes.
It just looks at his body language and his form. Ali maybe just telling her to go ahead. He's looking at his watch, but you can just see it's just getting a bit more tired and heavy.
But going back to the leaders, Mo, they're not that far away. They're going to come up to this gradual rise. It's maybe 400 to 600 meters of just a very, very gradual incline before they shoot down onto the promenade, and they're all still together.
It's neck and neck, as you said, and I think having experience from last year, the course, you know, if you know the course well, it's easier. And I think these guys would have checked the course out at this point, and then all thinking, how am I going to win from here? But they all look good. I think it will come down to a sprint finish, as we said, if no one's made any move from here.
Well, Jamal Yimur is trying to, I think, to push the pace, but Kimmening's not letting him get away, and I think the guide maybe to watch out for is Teshfahun Aquilnew, who is, you know, he's done absolutely very little of the pacemaking. He hasn't done very much.
He really has just mooched the whole way through this. So again, you know, Mark Scott's the slowest there at 60 minutes 37. So you know, it's a world-class field. Still, you've got a 58-minute runner and two 59-minute runners. So.
But they were just outside the minute. So actually, 60:37 is, you know, that's well within Mark's, you know. You know, that's well within his capabilities, Mark Scott, as well, to stay with that, to stay with this pace. So they obviously they haven't been able to break Mark Scott yet. Kevin has some news for us.
Yeah, well, I think just it's amazing to see that she's actually 5th overall in the race. You know, behind the 4 guys, she's 5th place, with Olympian athletes behind her. Just goes to show what the pace is like here. We see back to the men's race here now. It's really hotting up,
which is really exciting now. And you're going to see us. We're going to go down this 100-meter descent. And this is where we could make a move, and you can see Kimmining.
This is where Mo made his move last year.
Well, Kimmining goes to the front. Mark Scott still there.
Here we go. Kicks on.
Well, Mark Scott still holding on to the back as Emer and Kimmining try to stretch away, but they certainly haven't broken Aquilnew yet either. And the 4, you can see this beautiful shot heading along the coast, heading back into Larne.
With 1,000 metres to go now, so we're looking at maybe 2 minutes 40 to the finish.
And Aquilnew now moves out up on the outside of both Emer and Kimmining. Kimmining looks strong.
And what a race we've got here. And you know, Mark Scott, he knows this 1,000 metres back, you know, like the back of his hand. So he's got the track pedigree. It will. I mean, it would be amazing scalps if he were to win it. So it'll be a fantastic last 400 metres, Nigel.
Well, I think Mark Scott just maybe is he just beginning to drop off the back as Emer and Kimmining and Aquilnew gets hit the front now, and Scott's beginning to struggle just a little off the back. It's been a terrific race by Mark Scott, but now it's the 3 Africans who move to the front.
They've really picked up the pace here now. We're just going to be a fraction outside 60 minutes, or maybe we might even see something special here at the finish. You see Emer's hit the front.
It is like a track race, and Mo Farah's here is just saying like a track race, and there's still, there's 3 men neck and neck, all sub 60-minute runners. Mark Scott's maybe 5 metres behind them, but he knows we're still looking maybe 600, 700 metres to go.
Well, it's Emer now who hits the front from Kimmining. Aquilnew still there. Scott off the back at the moment. It looks now as though the race is between the 3 Africans. And Emer has broken into the sprint, but he hasn't broken either Kimmining or Aquilnew yet.
Kimmining with the arm action there, cutting the inside of the corner. He's hit the front now. Emer looks like he's hanging in there.
As they sweep around the corner here, where there's
500 metres to go, Nigel. So it's just going to be a sheer outside 60 minutes.
Well, forget about the time, shall we, for the moment? Just concentrate on what is going to be a terrific finish. Emer leads Kimmining, and Aquilnew still there as well. 3 men in with an opportunity to win the Antrim Coast Half Marathon for 2021. Emer grits his teeth, but Kimmining is still there as they come around the corner past the leisure centre now. 400
metres to go.
Emer hits the front for the first time. Is there a small gap there? Is he? Well, not much, but Kimmining is...
We're going to see a great finish here. We're just turning around and I can see the lead bikes coming through, and they're all still neck and neck.
Aquilnew looks like he's going to make one last bid here.
But Emer's trying to hold them off as they come around the final corner.
And we can just see them there, and they're 200 metres to go.
Emer now 3 metre gap from Aquilnew. Kimmining looks beaten in 3rd place. Can Emer hold off?
Kimmining kicks again.
Aquilnew. Emer goes to the front, kicks again. Kimmining looks beaten, and Emer the favourite for the race. 5 metre gap now, and it's going to be Yamal Emer. Is he going to hold on? I think he is. And the 24-year-old Ethiopian Yamal Emer wins the 2021 Antrim Coast Half Marathon. A terrific race there, and Emer, who came in as favourite, and sometimes that doesn't always work out. As I turn around to see the clock, we'll try and get a finish time for you. Just outside 60 minutes.
Yeah, just outside Sir Mo Farah's break. Oh my goodness, look at this here. Eulaw coming up to 60. Oh my goodness, this could be something very, very fast, Nigel.
Ross Skelton now is in the front. You can see Mo Ali has dropped off the pace.
Well, remember the time we're looking out for is 64.02. As Jamal Yemer looks absolutely exhausted at the finish line, but we want to get back to the women's race now, because this could be something special. The 22-year-old Ethiopian, Yulam Zerf Yuala, just into the last 500 metres or so now.
We've still got maybe 600 metres to go, Nigel, but she is flying, and it's actually going to work well. She's now come to the side of, oh, she's kicking past Ross Skelton.
Well, it's 60, we're 61.5 minutes to this stage now, surely. 64.02, remember, 64.02 is the time. The unratified world record, by the way, we think it will be ratified. It was run by Ruth Cheplikach back in Istanbul in April of this year. 64.02.
Come on.
But Yuala now, and well, this is almost perfect. She's got a really good runner in front of her to take her to the finish.
Well, we're looking maybe at something very, very special here, never seen before in these shores. We're looking at 64.02, and I think we're going to be inside. I think we're on world record pace.
Well, we're into the last 400 metres now, and it's been a terrific. Well, it's been a terrifically paced run as they come in front of the
oh my goodness,
see Ryan Creech there.
We're 400 metres to go coming up.
Come on, dig in now. Here we go.
400 metres to go, and she's went through in 62.40. I think we're going to be very, very close to a world record.
She's just hidden behind the camera car here. Here we go.
And she's putting everything into it. There's nothing left now. You can see her grimacing. What a run.
Well, Yulam Zerf Yuala now, she's going to take one more turn before the finish line.
And she's into the last 200 metres. We're going to see a new world record here in Larne.
Yuala.
And she's striking for home. We could be, Nigel, the first woman ever to break 64 minutes.
Well, this is a superb run, and it's going to be an Ethiopian double. Jamal Yemer has won the men's race, but this is superb.
Come on.
This is something that we haven't seen before, not just in Northern Ireland, but anywhere.
And this young lady is going to have some career ahead of her. 22 years of age.
And she looks full of running as she approaches the line. 22-year-old.
Yes!
And a new world record.
As she crosses the line in 63.43, a new world record set here in Larne this morning in the Antrim Coast Half Marathon.
Get in there.
To Ethiopia's Yulam Zerf Yuala, superb.
Hugs Ross Skelton there, and
Ross.
she's just exhausted. Very, very confident all week, Nigel, and she's went for it.
Well, what a fantastic race. I don't think she can believe what she's achieved.
Look
the
at the
tears
emotion.
are flowing. The emotion has just hit home as to what this young lady has achieved.
Incredible. Look at that.
Well, Nigel, I said last week, whenever Northern Ireland does a sports event, a major sporting event, they always hit home, and I think we've done that today.
Well, look what it means. Look at the tears are flowing. And it's just an absolutely magnificent race, and it's been beautifully paced, it has to be said, by both Roy Hohenweg and Mo Ali as well, who got her into that position. But she had to finish it off, and my goodness, did she ever finish it off. And that's not just a world record. She absolutely has smashed it to smithereens. We'll get the official time, but I made it round about, what was it,
63.42 I got, but I mean,
which
again,
is 20 seconds inside the
well, again, it's another barrier. It's the first woman ever to run under 64 minutes. I mean, under 64 minutes for a half marathon. It really is sensational. We're just bringing in Sir Mo here. Mo, what can you say about that? We're 100 metres away from the finish.
And you can see her emotions obviously meant everything to her. To break a world record is not easy, and to do it in that condition, and you know,
and it wasn't the easiest conditions. I mean, it did. She had got the wind behind her coming off the Ballygally turn, so that's obviously helped. But she did tremendously well that first 8 miles.
She did amazing, and what an amazing place to do it. And
there's the race director Ruth McElroy sitting with Yuala, all smiles, as you can imagine.
It's beautiful.
you can see the teamwork that goes into this. It's not just the athlete, it's the agents, it's the pacemakers, everyone involved here.
Well, that's just unbelievable. I mean, for a first ever World Athletics event in Northern Ireland to produce a performance like that and a world record, and we have to obviously wait for the official time, and it will of course have to be, Kevin, I'm assuming, ratified.
It will, yeah,
as well, because actually we were waiting on that, still waiting on World Athletics to ratify what we think now is the previous world record from Istanbul. But that's just a magnificent performance from Yulim Zurf, and she's taking it all in now. And you know, as the other runners obviously out on the course are beginning to finish, but we have the main story this morning, and an Ethiopian double here in Lauren. Yamal Ymer winning the men's race, came in as favourite and did so well, but the story and the headlines come in the women's race. And, as you can see, James has left us in the commentary position to go and congratulate Yulim Zurf and Mo Ali there, and what and you know, sometimes when records have to be set, you have to have some world-class pacemaking, and that this morning was as good as you could possibly get.
Yeah, no, you couldn't get it better than that. As you said, it's a teamwork, it's a preparation leading up to it, and obviously there's one thing doing it in training, but then to do it actually in reality when it matters, that's a big thing. And it's an amazing course, but she had to dig in deep and kept going all the way to the line.
Let's get a reaction from last year's winner of the women's race, Lily Partridge, who's with us as well. Lily, we've just seen a little bit of history, and just the way that she did that this morning was so full of running. She looked as though she could have gone on there for another few kilometres, because it was that good and that well paced this morning, and to have that record here and set in the UK is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, she ran a smart race, obviously thanks to sort of Mo Ali and that. She'd be grateful for him setting that up for her, but it's yeah, that's so fast. Yeah, I'm not even quite sure. I think we were trying to do the mile splits and I was like, I can't even. But yeah, no, brilliant run. It's great for the event as well. I
think, Kevin, she had to sort of, it was 3 minutes 2 second kilometres, I think she had to average for the race this morning. Give an ordinary layman, if you like, an indication as to, I mean, if you know, say you were to go out and run a kilometre this morning, you know, you're an ex-athlete. I mean, give us just to do that for a half marathon. Just give us a little insight to, you know, to the average layman, what that means to do 3 minute kilometres.
Look, I think, as James said earlier, no female athlete had broken 30:51 for 10k, and she's running over double that distance and faster. And also she was 6th overall in the race, including the men. Yeah. That just shows you what a run it was today.
No, it was a brilliant run, and changed into kilometres to miles. 3 minute kilometres mean 5 minute miling. So anyone out there at home who wants to try a mile to run that pace.
Let's just confirm the men's results here. Yamal Ymer winning in just outside 60 minutes. We'd hoped for a time under 60 minutes, but Mo Farah's record stays intact by 2 seconds. Congratulations, Sir Mo. Tesfahun Akolnyu and in second place, and Shadrach Kimmening in third place, ahead of Mark Scott, who ran so well. And I don't know whether that's a PB. We need to check that out if it's a PB.
Yeah,
and Ryan Creech,
that's a big PB for Ryan there today, yeah, and Paul O'Donnell. And
Ryan Creech, the leading Irish athlete, home there in 63:25 as well. Stephen Scullion down in 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th place there, and Mo Ali, who of course paced Yulim Zurf to that world record in 10th place there, 64:07. Okay, so we are going to get some reaction now, and I think Lily Partridge is with the women's winner and the world record holder, Yulim Zurf.
Congratulations today, world record. How did you find it?
በጣም ነው እንኳን ደስ አለሽ። ዛሬ ወርልድ ሪኮርድ ነው። እንዴት ነው የሚመስልሽ?
ቴንክ ዩ ሶ ማች። እኔ በጣም ይህንን ቀን ሁሌ ይመኘው ነበርና 23 ጊዜ ሞክሬያለሁ፣ አልተሳካልኝም። ዛሬ በጣም ተሳክቶልኛል። በጣም ደስተኛ ሆኛለሁ። ሆልደር ሪከርድ ሆኛለሁና በጣም ደስተኛ ነኝ።
And this was a dream come true for me. I tried previous times, 2 times to break the world record, but it didn't happen. But today I'm so happy that it happened today here in Lara.
I see. Obviously, you were disappointed at the World Half Marathon Championships to trip, but today make it up for it, making the world record.
ቅርብሎሽ ነበረ የዓለም ዋንጫ ሃፍ ማራቶን ስትሮጪ ድሮ አልተሳካም ነበረ ዛሬ ግን ያከሳሳል ወይ አይደለም ዓለም ሬኮርድ ስለሮጠሽ
የዛኔ እንግዲህ ያው አሸንፋለሁ ብዬ ነው የሄድኩኝና የዓለም ሻምፒዮና 100 ሜትር ምናምን ሲቀረኝ እግሬን አክሲደንት ገጥሞኝ ነበርና ያኛውን ይክስልኛል ብዬ አስባለሁ.
And at that time the world championships half marathon I was trying to win gold but it didn't happen at the last few hundred meters I have to twist my leg but today so happy that it happened.
Congratulations today.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Oh yeah, she want to say.
Well, what a fabulous race, men's and women's. James McElroy, organiser, is with me. James, just give us your reaction to what you have seen first of all in the women's race today.
Well, I'm still numb. They're just standing right behind us there. I kept on. I knew where all the markers were in the course, and I kept on double checking and then looking at Kevin English, who's my statistician, and she ran fantastic. So I mean, the first woman ever to break 64-minute barriers. She's done it on a UNESCO World Heritage site. You can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, just how special is this for athletics, for sport in Northern Ireland, that we've seen something unique here today?
Well, we have, but I do think when Northern Ireland do big sport events, which I class as a big sporting event now, we always deliver. You think of the golf in Royal Portrush, and it's an amazing occasion. It's a very, very fast course. They were very bullish about it, so I think it's a great thing for the community as a whole.
And the world record smashed.
Absolutely smashed. I was just looking at the times there. I think it was 63:44. So the world record was 64:02 from Istanbul. So it certainly puts the course on the map. It puts Yule on the map. So it's just we couldn't have asked for more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only smashed the record, but she's been targeting this event, hasn't she? And I think she had a point to prove today.
She did have a point to prove. She had a very, very, she's still very, very young. She's just turned 22, and sometimes when you're such a world-class athlete over a half a marathon, you think you can just turn it on in 5,000 metres and 10,000 metres. In the Olympic trials that didn't happen, so she came fourth in the trials, didn't go to the Olympics. Her coach and her agent said, look, she's got something to prove. She's coming here with fire. She's trained very well. She's in world record shape, and she showed it.
We could see just obviously the commentary team, Sir Mo was part of the commentary team, just how excited he was getting because he knew the world record was on.
Yeah, he did, and I mean his insight into the race when he says they're chatting, they're helping each other, it's brilliant. So it gives us great prompts. But no, he said when he said it was on, we knew it was on. So
yeah, and obviously her pacer today ran a great race for her too.
Two world-class runners. So Roy did he was the first pacer, and then Mo did the hard job really. So and you could see he was struggling when she was looking very, very, she was wanting to push on, and she did. So no, but they did a great job.
And you could see the emotion when she came over the line. You can tell exactly what that means to her today.
Yeah, I think that's probably 4 months of disappointment, 5 months of disappointment when she was in very, very good shape. Sometimes you don't get the rub of the green, but she didn't. So she didn't cry or mope about it. She went back to the drawing board and pushed hard again. Her training camp went brilliant. So and then she came out and she delivered.
What a career this young lady's got ahead of her.
Well, I mean, I know the Global Sports Agency are very, very excited about her, and they've had some very, very big stars across from Kipchoge to Kenenisa to Bekele to Haile Gebrselassie. They think ULA is going to be the future of half marathon and marathon running in the women's scene. So yeah, it's just fantastic.
And if she does kick on and achieve big things in the sport, of course she's now going to have a huge following here.
She is. Well, the first thing we'll be chatting about later on is bringing her back next year. So don't worry about that there. But no, we would like to. When they went round the course, they loved the course and they thought it was very, very fast. So I expect them to be back.
Yeah, just as we're taking a look at the overall women's results, it was obviously a really, really fast race today.
Yeah, so it was great. I mean, it was There'll been a lot of PBs, obviously. When you're in a world record race, there'll been a lot of ladies behind her who have ran very, very fast as well. So I haven't went in through all the details, but there'll be a lot of personal bests there.
Yeah, and I think she was fifth overall between men's and women's, which is a heck of an achievement.
Well, it's a heck of an achievement when there was 15 Olympians in the race, you know. So it's unbelievable. But you would do expect that, Stephen, if you're going to go into new territory. Yeah. Breaking barriers like that, you're probably going to take a lot of male scalps.
Yeah, I mean, what does it mean for this event to have something achieved like this here today?
Well, we're still a fledgling event as a world, you know, the first World Athletics event in Northern Ireland, and now, you know, we should be able to spring on and get elite status. So it'll mean a lot in terms of getting that calibre of runner. It makes it much easier for future years. So, you know, I think it'll be a springboard. We'll grow from this, no doubt about it.
And how will this news today reverberate across the world athletics scene, do you think?
Well, it's another barrier. So you've this 10-second barrier, you've got 100 seconds in 800, you've got the 4-minute mile. So we've now got a sub 64-minute in the half marathon. So it's these barriers. You've got a 2-hour barrier for the marathon. So yeah, it'll without doubt it'll reverberate. It's not only will it reverberate. She didn't beat it by 1 or 2 seconds. She smashed it. You know, it's 20 seconds. It's a big chunk out of that world record.
Okay, well, James, we'll talk about the men's race in just a moment. But first, we can hear from today's winner.
Thanks for your win today. You said you wanted sub 60, not quite, but how did you find it?
Thank you very much. I'm happy.
Did you? You were saying it's quite windy today. Obviously, yesterday was absolutely beautiful. So I think that sub 60 is definitely there on a day where the wind's a bit lower. How did you find the event?
ንፋስ በጣም አለው ግን ደግሞ በዛ ላይ ደግሞ የመጀመሪያውን ኮርስ ስለሆነ ትንሽ ንፋስ ከበድ ብሎኛል እንደ አሰብኩት ሰዓቴን ኮርስ ሪከርድ ነበር የተዘጋጀሁት ያው አላመጣሁትም ግን በማሸነፌ ደስ ብሎኛል
I'm happy with my win, but I've prepared for a course record, but due to the wind and the circumstances, I didn't meet sub 60, but I'm happy with the win.
You'll have to come back next year, and hopefully the weather's kind to you next year. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you. I'm
Well, Sir Mo Farah is with me. First of all, interesting to hear the men's winner saying the wind really affected him on the course today, Mo.
Yeah, no, as I said, yesterday was beautiful, but we were lucky enough last year, it was behind us. But we saw a great race. At that point, you know, from 10k, nothing is happening, and then 15k, you just like, I think it's going to come down towards the end, which it did, and we saw a good finish.
Yeah, what a great finish to the race, wasn't it? Really had to kick on to make sure he won it.
Yeah, they had to kick it. Even last year when I made a mark, I went down the hill as hard as I could and kept the gap. But there was no gap, and there was 3 of them locked in together to the line.
Can I get your reaction to the world record in the women's race today?
No, that was unbelievable. To set up early on to say, look, I'm going after the world record and to stick at it and to do it in LAN. It's incredible. And I told James this: the race, the course is fast, and it showed today. But she had to dig in deep, and obviously to break that record, it meant a lot to her. You can see the emotion in her face, and I think it's the leading up to it, the training and everything goes into it. At that point, kicks in, and you're like, I've done it.
Yeah, you can tell that she almost had a point to prove, didn't she, when she didn't make the Ethiopian Olympic squad this year?
Yeah, no, as an athlete, it's disappointing not to make it, and at that point, some athlete goes, okay, I didn't make it, and go down from now, or it brings them back up and have something to go for, and it showed that today. It meant everything to her, to show that it was just that one race. She had bad race, but it obviously did cost her to go to Olympics, and then to show the world out there, I still have it, and I'm a still great athlete, and I think that's what the sports need.
Yeah. And my goodness, she smashed the record.
She smashed it by miles.
Yeah. I mean, can you put it in perspective just how good that run was today?
That was brilliant. I think to break any world record in this condition, and particularly in a half marathon in that time, is great. And then even myself, often it's not as easy as it looks on telly, and even me, I'm on the other side going, yeah, go and dig it. But I'm sure she had to go out there and work hard, and I think just what an amazing field James has put in together, and particularly to make history in Northern Ireland, Larne, and to the people in Ireland to see, witness, is great for sport.
Yeah, it's special obviously for the sport, but special for Northern Ireland as well to be involved in something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's huge, and I said that this has a great potential, and to me, I just find it really different to London, to Northern Ireland, and particularly the people in Larne and the whole community, how different it is, and often you can't quite explain. But it is beautiful, and I'm sure a lot of people are happy.
And it's the weather's warming up a little bit as well. And just what kind of career does Olof have ahead of her, do you think? Because that was one heck of a performance today.
No, that was a great performance. I think it's all about how she gets looked after now, and in terms of what is the target for her. She obviously broke a world record, and you got next year the World Championship. Does she go for the World Champs? Does she stick on the road and maybe go half marathon and go on to it? And I think she's got good management here, and as you can see, very well organised in terms of pacing and everything else. So it all depends on the team around her. Yeah. And I think as an athlete, often you have to have, it's not just about yourself, you have to have the good team around you to help you, to make your life easier, and they're there to to guide her, as well as give her courage and make sure she stay on top of it.
Yeah, will that be the key for her to make sure she can have a really successful career? Because obviously her name, after breaking the world record today, will be across world athletics today, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, they will be out there in athletics world. A lot of people would know the result and know about Larne as well. But it's that moment where you got to look after yourself, and often you do have a team like myself. Got Gary Locke to look after. You got Adrian. You got people that to make your life easier, and obviously that's that people responsibility now to get out in decent races, and as well as have a plan for her the next couple of years, because she's only 22. You said
she's got a whole career.
She's got a whole career ahead of her.
A word obviously as well for her two pacers today, who performed admirably out there for her, didn't they?
Yeah, and they did a great job. At one point I was thinking the pacemaker looks more tired than her. But they did a good job, and as a pacemaker you taking everything in. Yeah. You picking up the drink, you taking responsibility, and when you're running it's a lot more harder to think about these things.
And the mass race coming up next. Of course, it's not all about the elite runners here today, but the mass race, there'll be people looking for really good times in there too.
Yeah, the mass race is that there's a lot of people got to be out there and looking for good times. But I say, just go and enjoy it. Don't put that pressure on yourself. The elite is done now, and just go and do what you need to do, and hopefully we can encourage them. And
well, we can hear the music's getting ramped up here. We're
party time.
And it's certainly, but isn't it nice for the runners in the mass race, knowing that a world record has been beaten on this course before they take to it today?
Yeah, that's good. It's good spirit, and to show that, look, someone just break the world record, and I'm sure they'll be thinking we can run faster there.
Mo, thank you very much. We'll try and bring James back in. James, thanks a lot. You can swap microphones with Mo there. Mo's off to join the party. Thank you for the moment, Mo. We were just saying to Mo, obviously this will reverberate across world athletics today, but very important for the women's winner today to be managed properly so that she can have as successful a career as possible.
Yeah, I mean, she'll be taking a break after this. I mean, she's ran half a marathon flat out, just over an hour, so she'll be taking a longish break before starting again, and then maybe looking at something next year. So that's well, I'd tell Eli she's doing Valencia then, she's looking for next year, but she won't be rushed through. We'll hopefully get her back, Stephen, next year, but
let's hope so.
Yeah,
and will it open the doors to hopefully attracting some more top class runners here for you?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we have We were talking about Chip Teague next year. It's don't know if they can afford it, but yeah, we're certainly talking about it. They're very much attracted by the course. They can see the way it's set up. It's very, very fast second section. We saw that today, and we've got a pacemaker here beside us, Roy. They're just saying that Roy. They're just saying he's coming back next year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
a very fast course. So
yeah.
maybe
Brilliant,
another world record.
Yes. Yeah, we hope. We'll order one.
Yeah, well done for playing your part in that,
Roy. Brilliant. Thank you.
As well. You can see obviously that the world record's going to grab the headlines here today, naturally.
No doubt. I mean, we did see a great race in the men's. It was a tactical battle.
Yeah.
Mo's course record still stands. I might
He'll be happy about that.
But he'll be happy about that. But no, it was and rightly so. It should grab the headlines. I mean, to break that 64-minute barrier is massive. So that'll go out all across. I think there's 134 affiliated countries to World Athletics. I'm sure each one there'll be a touch point there somewhere.
Oh, James, thank you very much indeed. It's been a very special morning here in Larne with a world record mass race. Will take place here for the next couple of hours. Runners from all over Northern Ireland, all over the UK will enjoy that. But from all of us here on the BBC, hope you've enjoyed this coverage of the Antrim Coast Half Marathon, and it's bye-bye for now.